a decent set of cues. We may say that we have paused or at least stopped selling at this point of time, and this consolidation, if happens, would be good for market. In this backdrop, what are the stocks which you are suggesting? Means I can see on my screen that Marico is a buy for you, and that stock in yesterday's trading session gave a very big move with very large volumes, very high volumes. How are you doing it, and are you mixing and matching with some of the sell calls?
Yes, the market does seem to have paused a bit, by not following through on expectations of further declines. Now, whether one ascribes this to nearing the 10,000 levels and the 24,000 levels on the individual indices, or to the fact that people at large felt that things were slightly overdone with the market falling for multiple days on a trot. Be that as it may, I think people simply stopped selling, and there was a bit of shorts getting covered, and in spite of the FIs having sold a large chunk, it really does not seem to have disturb the trend in any significant manner. Now, that said, it really doesn't mean that we are on to an upward path, because right now there aren't sufficient number of triggers to take the market higher. So we should have a mixed picture as far as stocks preferences for trading are concerned. So I'm mixing it up with a long in Marico, where I think some new move seems to have got launched. The stock had gradually drifted down into well-defined moving average supports on the weekly charts, and yesterday we saw this super price action with a very powerful drive to the top side and stock finishing near the high. So seems like a willingness to break out of the recent range. 318 is the current price. Buy it in this price region plus minus 1 or 2 rupees. Keep a stop loss at about 312. Look for a day's target near about 325 to 327, but perhaps more also could be on offer here. For a sell, I am looking at L&T Finance, where I think it was recently in the news with some additional stocks getting issued through a QIP, etc. That does not seem to have brought in sufficient amount of interest back into the stock, and it continues to languish a bit. And if the market were to remain soft, or particularly the financial services area remains soft, I think L&TFH could probably take a further hit and go down to about 144, 145 level. Currently 153 half, shorted with a stop at about 157.
One stock where we have received a lot of sell calls in last 2-3 trading sessions, L&T Financial Holding, and Marico in yesterday's trading session has been a big gainer. In fact, not just Marico, there were some of the second rung FMCG stocks which have done really well for themselves along with some of the pharma names. Kunal, interestingly, you are suggesting to buy Karnataka Bank. Now that stock has not given any indications, at least in futures market, to create any long positions. But what are you seeing on charts? And BEML, that stock has been really volatile. Yesterday we were talking about that there was a significant fall, and there is strong bounce back. In fact, if I'm not wrong, stock closed at a day's high. Do you think that bounce is sustainable, and is this a positional buy, or you're just playing for a bounce back?
Well, yes, Siddharth, first of all, good morning. The first stock is Karnataka Bank. Yes, I think in terms of price, on the daily charts there is not much of a trigger, but on the hourly charts, the indicators which I generally follow in terms of momentum, they have started to pick up positive pace, and generally when you look at index fall stabilizing, many of these stocks which are showing signs of positive price and indicator action on the hourly charts, they tend to move up higher. So I'm suggesting a buy on KTK Bank in the anticipation that most of these banks, especially on the private sector side, they would start to pick up and sort of see some bit of whether it's short covering or whether some bit of rally. KTK Bank is one of them. Suggesting a buy with 126 as a target, stop loss at 115. BEML is the second buy, and interestingly, I think as we were discussing yesterday, that there is a positive price divergence, a bullish RSI divergence on the daily charts. Yesterday's candlestick pattern was extremely positive, not just closing at the high point of the day, but the way the stock has panned out in terms of volumes as well. I think it seems like that the stock would have formed a near-term bottom around this 1000 mark. So keeping that 1000, 1010 as a stop loss, I am suggesting a buy on BEML, a positional call 1200 approximately is the target which I'm eyeing on the stock.
Okay, those are, buy calls, and, two buy calls from Kunal. He seemed to be, positively oriented with both the buy calls coming in. Manas, yesterday we were, talking in fag end of the market that how some of the pharma names are doing really well, and Sun Pharma is a buy for you. That stock, one of the largest stock in the space, and a decent amount of contributor towards, market. That was up by 2.5%. Do you think pharma is bottoming out, because some of the names have shown decent move in recent past, and you too are bearish on L&T Financial Holding?
Yeah, I'm not very much bullish on pharma in entire space, because many stocks are showing a negative movement, and especially if you're talking about Sun Pharma, I think here the overall trend is bearish, but stock has made a bullish engulfing pattern on the daily chart. So I just want to play for a bounce back. So there is no sign of reversal on the medium to long term charts, but definitely here you can play for a bounce back because stock has made a bullish engulfing pattern. Oscillators are showing positive crossover on the early chart. It is making higher tops and higher bottoms now. So here the target would be around 520. Stop loss should be 502. Second is a sell on L&T Finance Holding, because even yesterday I mentioned about L&T Finance Holding. Stock has already broken the support of 157. It is sitting below its 200-day moving average, and it is making lower tops and lower bottoms. So I think now it can again test its recent low of 145. So take a short call here and keep your stop loss above 157.